Guys, welcome to Weenie Weekend Wednesday. Finally, I get to do this. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. If you are a fellow true crime lover and you love murder mysteries and you love movie reviews, you have come to the right place. I'm going to be doing all that right here. So please do like and subscribe and come and join the family. Okay, guys, so for our first episode, I wanted us to do a movie review about a 1950s beauty, Bombshell. She is blonde and she is none other than the queen herself, Marilyn Monroe. So, over the past couple of years, a lot of biopics have been made about Marilyn's life. This one, I thought it was very interesting. That's why I decided to do a review about it. And I'm going to tell you why as we break it down. So, we're going to be focusing on very four easy aspects in this particular movie. It's going to be the actress, the cast, the actors and the casting, the lighting, and the dialogue and the storyline. So starting with the actress, Anna de Armas was the one playing Marilyn Monroe. I thought she did an incredible job. Adrian Brody portrayed Marilyn's first husband, second husband, and Bobby Cannavale portrayed the first husband. So overall, the casting I felt like was really great. I did see a lot of people saying that they wished someone else had played Marilyn, and I'm like, if you guys saw the movie, the resemblance between Anna and Marilyn was uncanny. It was I had to go back and go and view some of Marilyn's old pictures, then come back and watch the movie again, and my mind was blown. I felt like she truly was able to embody Marilyn. And I had actually watched her in a movie before that when I saw in the trailer, I wasn't even sure if she was going to be able to embody the character, because if you guys have watched the movie Knives Out, she stars in that movie. So I was, not really sure if she was going to be able to, give us, the perfect embodiment of Marilyn. But honestly, she was able to kill the character. I thought she did a fantastic job. So overall, the casting, I give them, a strong 7 out of 10 because I felt like they were great. Even though I will say, I don't know if the director did that on purpose, but I felt like sometimes the chemistry between the actors was a bit off. I don't know if maybe the director was doing that on purpose to kind of show Marilyn's life with her spouses and that kind of dysfunctionality. I'm not sure, but I just felt like there was a little bit of the chemistry that was missing from the characters, but I felt like the casting was really great. And lighting, the movie is visually pleasing. I mean, this movie, honey, when I tell you, the angling, the framing, everything is just beautiful. When I saw the trailer of this movie, it was in black and white, and I wasn't sure if the whole movie was going to be in black and white until I watched the movie myself. And I felt like they were able to really play on the lighting of the film, because it's not very easy to create a movie about a 1950s actress and still be able to make it look fresh and modern. Because honestly, I love color. The only thing that I like to watch is color, to be quite honest. So the movie, I feel like when it comes to visual, it's delivered way beyond my expectations. Probably the best movie that I've watched when it comes to visuals about a biopic about Marilyn's life. I've watched a lot of biopics over the years about Marilyn's life, and honestly, for me, when it comes to visual, this one, it killed it. I mean, go watch the movie for yourself if you haven't watched it. And guys, why would you be watching the review of Blonde if you haven't watched the movie? But I know it happens, but I'm telling you, visually you will not be disappointed. That movie absolutely delivered. I give it a 10 out of 10 when it comes to visual, because it was truly beautiful to watch. And I will say the recreation of Marilyn's life, when she was on the movie Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, they did try to create color in certain aspects of the movie, ones that I felt they didn't want to not create in black and white, because I felt like they knew even that it wouldn't be pleasing to watch. So I'm really glad they were able to do that. So dialogue, this movie, when it comes to dialogue, thank God this movie was able to deliver visually, because the dialogue was weak. I felt like there wasn't much of passion between the actors themselves. For example, Marilyn and her mom's character, I did not feel anything at all. I was just so confused throughout, like Marilyn and her husbands. Like I said, the casting was really, really great, but I just feel like there was really lack of chemistry between the actors themselves. But I was really, really disappointed with the dialogue of the film. I felt like, it didn't give me much, and I felt like it was overall very, very weak. So I will give the movie a 5 out of 10 for the dialogue, because I felt like it wasn't great. And finally, the storyline. This biopic is very, very interesting. And the reason I'm saying this biopic is very interesting is that over the years, I have watched, a lot of biopics about Marilyn's life. There's also another biopic that's out. It's just tapes of Marilyn's life, like, unheard footage before. Like, you guys can go check it out. It's also on Netflix. This particular biopic, I will say, is the first one I've ever watched that gives a view of Marilyn in a different light. I feel like this biopic, I don't know if the director did that on purpose or not, because in my mind, whenever I think of a biopic, is that, so many of them have been created. I mean, obviously, Blonde is not going to be the last biopic that's going to be created about Marilyn's life. There's still more to come, But I feel like as a director, when you're given a script about a biopic, or like, the green light to go, you're always thinking, how do I create something different that people haven't seen, but still remain true to obviously the story of her life? And I know a lot of people are saying this biopic feels like it exploited Marilyn because of some of the scenes in the film where, like, there's this particular this particular scene in the film where, the fetus is kind of like having a conversation with Marilyn, and a lot of people feel like, oh my God, that was unnecessary. But I feel like this biopic created Marilyn in a light where it wasn't just focused on her career, but it focused on the struggles within herself, which is something that we barely get to see about Marilyn, because, everybody just wants to see kind of the same old story, like her rise to stardom, like, oh, what happened between her and what might have not happened between her and, like, a former president and everything. And I feel like, this biopic kind of shows like a phase of her life that at the end of the day, she was just a woman that at the end of the day wanted, a life. And I remember there's this particular scene I once saw. It was like on an interview of one of her like her documentaries, and this gentleman said, if you could have you could have given Marilyn a choice for her to choose a career and having a family and kids, she would have chosen like family and kids. And I feel like a lot of biopics that have been created over the past couple of years, they have never really shown Marilyn as like, the kind of person that wants, a family. They show her more as like, she really wanted the fame, where truly she's just a girl that wanted to have a career and her life. And I love the fact that this biopic did show that, at some point, Marilyn might have been exploited for her beauty, because she did say so herself. Like a lot of people back in the, what's the most funniest thing if you think about it now? Marilyn wasn't even regarded as an actress back in the 1950s. And fast forward to now, she's probably one of the most celebrated artists of that time. Because then people just saw her as a dumb blonde. And why are we acting as if like that is not true? Because I kept seeing people be like, oh my God, this biopic is exploiting Marilyn. When in all case, in my opinion, it's just showing the reality of Hollywood, of how women are like exploited for their looks, and like nobody truly views a person as like talented until they're gone. So I feel like the storyline of this documentary, in my opinion, was really great. It gave me a different light of Marilyn. It made me see Marilyn for the first time as just like an ordinary person that lived a very complicated life, that even sometimes maybe even herself wasn't aware of the things that were happening around her. It made me feel like, the industry isn't as glamorous as it's always portrayed to be, whether it was in the 1950s to now. I mean, even in this day and age, we still have people talking about the exploitation that happens in the industry. I'm not saying that, Marilyn is a victim. I'm not saying that she didn't want the fame or whatever, but I'm just saying that I'm glad this biopic showed, a view of Marilyn's life that was different. Even though there might have been some fictional things in the movie, like, calls from her dad and all those like parts about her getting abortion. I don't even know how many abortions, because according to their ME, allegedly according to the ME, like I've seen like on my research that there isn't any proof that she ever gotten those many abortions before. So I'm not saying this biopic is all in true. There are some fictional things in this biopic, but I'm just saying that for the past couple of years, Marilyn has always been portrayed as a dumb blonde, and people seem to forget that at the end of the day, she was still human. So I feel like this movie gave light to that, and I absolutely loved watching that. So overall, I would say this movie was not bad. The dialogue was weak. The casting was impeccable. I still think Anna de Armas did an incredible job. I mean, she was able to embody Marilyn. So I would give this movie a score rating of like maybe 60% overall. I think the movie it deserved to be watched. I think it's great. But also, maybe it's time we stop exploiting the dead and, stop making biopics all in all. I mean, there have been so many Marilyn biopics out there. So maybe it's just kind of like time to be like, okay, cut. I don't know. But hey, all this Netflix need to make money, right? And they make most way they make money is by creating, old stories. So guys, that's it for today. Let me know what are your thoughts on this movie. Do you think it's time for Hollywood to stop exploiting the dead actresses? And do you think Blonde was a great show? Okay, I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, guys.